Hi, it's Hollowmaster, and we're back with another part of Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. So, I made a whoopsie. If you saw it in the last part, when I encountered that messenger on the road. No, you didn't. That hasn't happened on this playthrough. Oh no. I was suspicious that I encountered the messenger so early, so I went back, like, off camera, and I was like, let me just rest and see what happens so that I can know what, like, I'm gonna go up against next time I record. And it was the attack on the Defender's Heart, and we don't want that yet. So, I went back and tested a bunch of things, and I think we're gonna be okay. So the plan right now is I've already sold a bunch of stuff. I've bought a bunch of stuff. So now the plan is to leave the Defender's Heart without resting. As you can see, we are all pretty messed up, except for, like, those we just got. And we're going to go to the library, at least, and try and at least get that done before we come back to the Defender's Heart to rest. We're also going to try resting at the library, because I think resting at the library was what was triggering it when I reloaded without having encountered the messenger. So the messenger is a random encounter. So I went back and reloaded and didn't encounter him. Let's take Ember. But then when I came here and rested, it triggered anyways. So I think it's that. So we also need to talk to Foreign Autumn Haze as well. We're going to try and do this. How far away is that? 4 hours, and this is 3. We're going to try and do the wine cellar too, but let's go to the library first, because again, that's the important one. We need to go to the library. So yeah, my fault. I've never had that happen before, though. I was surprised. But it is what it is. I did also buy a scroll to remove Sela's blindness. So, actually, let's switch to Dayrin and let's see. Put that on him.
I welcome your company.
On Sela. Beautiful. Wonderful. Lovely. Okay, so get this book really quick.
Smile, the world's not ending just yet.
And then let's go over here and see what's going on. A stocky knight with a head of messy black hair stands before you. His armor is spattered with blood. He greets you with a deep, booming voice. Ha, Crusaders, excellent. I am Captain Caleb Sazamal. Caleb? I don't know. These are my men. I am about to burn these vile backstabbers and heretics here. These pathetic imitators of the traitor Aurilu who tricked their way into the ranks of the Crusaders. The knight nods at a heap of severely beaten people and a strange elf whose appearance seems jarring for some unknown reason. Sazamal bellows threats at his prisoners, who seem to be in a state of deep shock and utter terror. The knight's left eye is twitching suspiciously. It's either a nervous tic or he's winking at you? What could that even mean? A strange feeling rises up within you. It's pure instinct. You don't know what you're about to do, but you're certain it's right. So we have a lot of options here. So are you ogling at me or what? What happened to the library? Why do you want to burn them? We can do a perception check to take a look at the Ruthless Crusader, a lore religion check to check their armor, or an athletics check to smile politely and nod, but then suddenly punch the nearest soldier. That's right, death to traitors. Let's do the lore religion check first. So we succeeded. You notice that the emblems on the armor are of the 2 silent crusaders belonging to the Order of the Flaming Lance, but his armor bears the sigil of the Order of the Sunrise Sword. Strange, then, that he introduced himself as their captain. Something's not right here. Let's take another perception check. So we succeeded at the perception check. He's talking too loudly, all while casting sidelong looks at you. You have seen similar behavioral quirks before in liars. So let's do the chaotic trickster mythic path option. We're going to give in to the strange instinct. Idiots, stop. Heed my command in the name of Baphomet. The words fly out of your mouth before you can even think them. I love the trickster music. It's so fun. That was the first mythic path that I ever did. It's so good. It's so unserious. It's so good. Some gut instinct told you that this is precisely what needs to be said in the moment, and their words hit their target. The Crusaders jump in surprise and look at each other in terror. The corner of Darren's mouth are twitching, like he's struggling with all his might not to bust out laughing. Woldriff glares menacingly. Didn't you know, mortal? We're everywhere. He leaps to attention and barks out, sorry, couldn't have known. We'll fix it right away, ma'am. An inexplicable feeling of righteousness flows through you. You enjoy seeing the look of oafish terror on the faces of the Crusader and his lackeys when you rebuke them for their fecklessness. We're gonna, so we can say, report, who are you? Caleb is a Crusader name. Are you a Crusader? I hereby give you a name worthy of a demon. Foul snout. Listen to your gut. Stop wasting valuable fuel. If you like burning books, go rig the Great Garrison Library. Our other enemies might try to sneak in there, so step to it. We're gonna do that one again. Darren looks at you with amused curiosity and speaks in a softer voice. I do enjoy your sense of humor. It's quite fiery. So we can blow him a kiss and say, mind the fire, you'll get burned. Say, hot, it's gonna be more fun later, you'll see, or say nothing. We're gonna blow our mans a kiss. Darren lowers his lashes with a slight smirk. Thanks for the warning, but I am absolutely fire resistant, even if the flame is ever so charming. There's plenty more where that came from, ma'am. I'll do everything you've ordered. Just as soon as those Crusaders arrive, they'll be dead meat. I'll go make sure that we get make it another 2 barrels of alchemist fire from the Great Garrison storeroom. Things are going to burn right up in there. Fine. Probably. It's probably fine. Let's go ahead and untie everyone. Praise Iomade, we're saved. You came just in time. The storyteller. A blind elf stands before you. He looks extremely strange. His face wears its years heavily, which is unusual for a member of this race. His race. Thinning gray hair, a ragged beard, slightless, milky eyes, pale, papery skin, covered in age spots, a spine curved by the passage of time. This is not how elves typically age. The youth that graces the face of elves on their deathbed has totally abandoned this decrepit specimen. That was rude as hell. The old elf holds out his hand in your direction in the perennial gesture of the blind, greeting you with an unexpectedly strong and calm voice. Hello, I am Storyteller, and I wish to thank my rescuers. That is you, if I am not mistaken. Storyteller, ha! That's the first I've ever heard of a venerable old-timer like that having a street name. Sometimes a person can lose their name, but Mama and Papa are gone, friends are gone, and there's nobody to ask what it was. So instead of their name, a person can pick any word that is good. Everybody has a name, or do they? I don't know. She just says the darndest things. So, who are you? The old elf frowns. I prefer people to call me Storyteller. It very accurately describes the sphere of my occupations and interests. In most of the places I have been, I am known by that name. You've piqued my curiosity. A storyteller. Are you a bard? If so, you should come perform at one of my parties instead of knocking out about this dusty library. A bard? In some senses, yes, but not in the type of bard that performs at festivities. I think your guests would lose their appetites after hearing my tale. What a shame, and I was so hoping to wheel you out for my guests. With your unusual appearance, we would have quite the scandal. But lugubrious bards are of no use to me. Half the bards in the city are the same. Their repertoire is confined to the one about longing, the one that causes indigestion, and the one that's a complete waste of time. I mean, really, how is one supposed to host a party with that? When I was little, my mother and father used to tell me stories, but I have no one to tell me stories now. Sometimes Grandma does in my dream, but I always forget them in the morning. Can you tell me a story? The corner of the blind elf's mouth slowly creep upward. For you, I may have a story to tell, but perhaps it is you who has a story for me. So, I want to talk to you about something. The old elf responds with dignity and courtesy, but firmly. In thanks for my rescue, I of course will render you a service in return, whatever it may be. However, at this moment, I wish to be somewhere safer than the present surroundings. My recent adventures have fatigued me greatly. I would be grateful if you could help me to a safe shelter of some kind. The stubborn set of the elf's mouth tells you that he won't change his mind. Typical. You do something good in return, and instead of saying thank you, they just ask for more help. Go easy on the old elf. He's had a rough go of it. Yeah, because we've had it so easy. Finian said, we can't not help him. If it was up to me, Grandfather Elf, I'd throw you over my shoulder and carry you out of here. This is no place for old folks. So, we're obviously taking him to the Defender's Heart. The storyteller lowers his voice slightly. Please wait. I am not the only one thankful to you. The young crusader over there is eager to give his regards, but he is too shy to approach you. I can tell from his quickened breathing. Take pity on the lad and accept his thanks. Flame? A young man with aristocratic feature wipes the sweat from his brow and gives you a courteous bow. Allow me to introduce myself. Brother Claim, at your service. Thank you for helping us. We thought we were doomed to perish. There is death everywhere. Sometimes I think we're all doomed, but then death has passed us by and we're still alive. Lan looks at Ember with sorrowful eyes. But you're an elf. You should live hundreds of years and not ever worry about dying. Little elf girls shouldn't even know such words. When children are thrown into the middle of a war, they learn many sad things. This is why we have to win, so that other boys and girls don't have to learn what we did. Or Ember. So who are you? We're Crusaders of the Order of the Flaming Lance, and our order dedicates itself to the pursuit of hidden knowledge and magical methods of fighting the demons. We are searching for our leader, Sister Miamir, the scholar. She spent the last weeks here, working day and night on some important research. When the demons attacked the city, we rushed here to find her, but it seemed that she left the city shortly before the attack began. So she just left with no word of where she could be found? None. She left in a hurry, without leaving notes or orders. Why? I have no idea. The only thing that may serve as a clue is this book, the one she was studying. The knight holds out a leather-bound tome. So we got My Company of Worn-Out Words, Songs of a Crusader. So, it's a collection of ballads composed by a bard who fought in the Second Crusade. The first songs are brimming with swaggering optimism, but as the collection progresses, the texts grow darker and more obscure as the despair and madness slowly take possession of the bard's mind. Miamir has annotated one of the verses. Long dead fingers of the blackest stone, the forbidden tree stretches out its branches to me, white pebbles dog my steps, 1,000 piercing eyes on hoar-frosted ground, the winter sun's rays caress the runes, ancient symbols burn on hardened bark, secrets crusted over with white lichen, and a white fog steals over my weary mind. In her handwriting, a note reads, Trees, runes, stone book of the druids of Old Sarkoris here? So, her note mentions something about a stone book belonging to the druids of Old Sarkoris. What does that mean? Stone books. The druids of Old Sarkoris used ancient trees as books. They carved their secret knowledge onto the bark. When the demons came, they resorted to a dark ritual that turned the trees to stone and the druids themselves into undead, doomed to guard their stone libraries forever. Sarkoris, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it was an ancient civilization that, I think kind of got wiped out, like, when the demons invaded. And I think it's still, like, under demon control. So how'd you end up in this trap? That traitor met us at the door. He seemed a faithful and passionate crusader, and we didn't suspect a thing, until they attacked us from behind and knocked us out. We didn't expect such trickery. Most of our old brethren are dead, and we were desperate to believe that this man in armor was a fellow crusader, a comrade. While we were unconscious, they removed our armor and tossed us onto the pyre of books. What macabre blasphemy. Ain't that the way? You start to think you might trust a fella, and boom, he goes and stabs you in the back. But if you never trust anyone, soon you'll just become a killer like Hulrun. That's hardly any better, is it? Ha, don't start, Isle. Fine, you've convinced me, you can trust people, but only one in every dozen, I'd say, and not for long even then. So yeah, obviously we've unlocked the Trickster Mythic Path. Like I said, we're not doing that this run, but it is very fun. It was thematic to our homebrew campaign at the time when we ran it, but it is, like, if you want to play a more serious game, definitely don't go Trickster. Because some of the spells and like abilities are just so goofy. Like you can summon a beer elemental, just like really random kind of stuff like that. Who's the elf with you? Is he a crusader as well? No, he calls himself the storyteller and only recently arrived in Canabras. We often saw him in the library. He was interested in the writings about early Sarkoris and the era before. It seemed the traitor caught him in the library and decided to kill him with the rest of us. He drops his voice to a polite murmur. Have you noticed that the storyteller is a little odd? Even for Canabras, where you can meet the strangest people from the farthest corners of the globe among the crusaders. Have you ever seen such a decrepit elf before? Not just old, but ancient. With a gray beard like that? Elves don't tend to grow beards, I thought, and they don't have wrinkles. So we're gonna say, go to the Defender's Heart. City still fights? That's incredible news. We'll go to our sanctuary guarded by our order brothers and sisters. We will bring them to the Defender's Heart. Okay, so now we have rescued the storyteller, which we needed to do. Like, I will load back hours of this save if we couldn't rescue the storyteller. So let's loot everything. The bookcase is full of text describing demons and methods of fighting them. Regrettably, all this knowledge wasn't enough to save Canabras from the spawn of the Abyss. We're gonna get a bunch of books that we'll read later. Ember. Gonna try an Arcana check. The enormous black rift cuts the library in half. It goes so deep that one can only wonder who could have possibly wreaked such destruction and how. Sheesh. I'm assuming Daskari. Some more loot. The great library of Canabras has been ravaged and wrecked with the most barbaric way. It seems that someone took a perverse pleasure in smashing lamps and furniture and tearing pages out of books. What a loser. Seems like there's still a good amount of books that survive though. Whoa. Oh yeah. I also haven't like played this part since this came out. I've never played with this character before. Hello. Bye. I hope that beast doesn't bring what's left of the building down on our heads. Ember said, wow, a big cat with wings. I love Ember. Okay. Did I click on this one already? It's flammable alchemical substance. If I could speak, that would be really nice. Jesus Christ. I don't think I can go anywhere else in the library. Yeah, like you can't go over there. And I don't think you can go any farther this way. Oh, I think that's it. And then I think he's just gonna, like... Oh, we can talk about this. There's a griffin statue here. It suddenly came to life and flew away. Do you know anything about it? The griffin stood in this library for decades, but only today did he take flight. Why? I do not know, but I'm glad his ancient slumber came to an end. He smiles at his thoughts. He has a long story behind him, and yet the real tale is only just beginning today. No, I will not reveal his secrets. I think your paths will cross again. So I'm taking you to the Defender's Heart. Oh, you have to take him to the Defender's Heart. Well, yeah. And then let's check our quest really quick. What is... I don't think... Okay, this one still just says be prepared. Let's talk to Forn really quick. And then we might try and go to that Pixitan wine cellar. So, we're going to do a perception. I think Kaelessa might be a drow. You see a shadow pass over Forn's eyes for a single instant, then his face just as impassive as before. A drow? Unlikely. It's more plausible that her dark service has left a brand similar to one that twisted the entire cursed drow race. A coincidence, one would think. I met her. His melancholic expression remains calm, but his entire body tenses and his fingers wrap around the handle of his weapon. Under what circumstances? I hope you seize the opportunity to kill her. She claims she doesn't serve the demons. Of course she does. In an attempt to buy her life, she would stoop to the boldest and most egregious of lies. Whose word would you trust, hers or mine? Are you certain of your allegations? He lowers his head in a hollow voice. I am. Her misdeeds are terrible and proven with absolute certainty. I let her go. After giving you a saddened look, he stares off at you from the distance. Your decision is regrettable. I'm afraid that in doing so, you've condemned her many future victims to death. I suppose it means that bringing this hunt to a close falls upon my shoulders. Sorry, buddy. But, like, I feel like we really didn't have any evidence to just go blast her for. Okay. I'm gonna make a save to host library. Let's try and just go to the wine cellar and see if we can rest there and then come back here and then talk to everyone and then see if we can trigger the attack after that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's a good sign that Anevia is not chasing us down. Because, yeah, one of the times I tried to leave, Anevia was like, where are you going? There's literally demons outside. And I was like, come on, man. I got errands to run. I was supposed to have... Ooh. This one might not be. We might be reloading. If it's too dretch, it looks like it is. And a messenger. Yeah. We're not doing that. Well. So yeah, basically that encounter is random. If you get it, you can reload and possibly not get it. Whoa. Hello? Nenio, relax. Just need to sleep. We are so injured. Oh, a little dog. Wish you could pet the dogs. Okay. Try that again. If it gives it... Ugh. It's like it might just keep giving it to us.
We are the light. They are the darkness.
I guess... Can I go somewhere else and rest? Like somewhere closer? Can I go here? Ah, it really is not letting me go anywhere, huh? Jesus Christ.
They will break against our resolve.
Fine. I'll just go to sleep. So we'll finish up talking to people, and then in the next part we'll trigger the attack on the defender's heart. So let's go see the storyteller. The blind elf looks better than he did in your last encounter. His clothes are clean and his pale face has some color. The elf turns to you and listens closely. Is that you, my savior? I recognized your footsteps. Determined footsteps befitting a determined person. Allow me to thank you again for saving me. Please accept this humble gift as a token of my appreciation. He hands you a small black ring with 2 scarlet runes on it. Irabeth has explained why you were looking for me. I warned the authorities of Canabras that the local wardstone has been desecrated. They waved off my warning and paid for their inaction. I have examined many wardstones, but only the one guarding Canabras did I sense a flaw. A spot of corruption inside, a vulnerability the demons will surely use. They are able to spread the blight inside of the wardstone, corrupt it, and make it their weapon. It frightens me to think what it will be capable of. The wardstone must be destroyed. Who are you, and why did they let you examine the wardstone? He smiles faintly. I am the storyteller, just an old elf. A bit more. I am old even for an elf. I have seen many things and been many places. Not so long ago, I witnessed the making of a young kingdom in the stolen lands. led by a remarkable and promising individual. My advice on the complicated matter of conquering those lands proved useful to the leader. This is not uncommon for me. Some seek my advice or services, and I don't refuse. This is how I acquired my reputation as an old vagrant who's never hurt anyone, stayed out of other squabbles, but sometimes gave good advice. I had a few friends in Nerosian who vouched for my integrity. This is why my humble request to be allowed to see the Wardstone was granted. I visited all of them, but only found cause for alarm in Canabras. Do you wield some special magic? Some instinct? He chuckles. Yes, to a certain extent, but it's more of a gift. I can see the past. Stories that have happened. I touch an object, and shreds of its owner's memories are revealed in my mind. Their emotions, passions, and tragedies. I see visions like I am them, and their stories happen to me. This is my power. I've been roaming the world, gathering such stories for many thousands of years. One day, I will gather them all. What blight is well, many thousands of years? That means old. With a capital O. What blight is concealed in the Wardstone? I'm afraid I don't have the answer to your question. To understand the nature of this blight, we need to understand how the Wardstone was created, and it is hidden from me. I can only guess. Have you heard of the Red Morning Massacre? A dreadful morning remembered with fear even by those not yet born at the time. A demoness called Monago invaded the city with a crowd of her followers, and started to do what demons do best, kill and desecrate. They say they covered the Wardstone with pieces of dead bodies, splashed it with blood from top to bottom. Could such an abomination darken the radiance of the gift of Iomade herself? Locals think impossible, but who knows? It was not the last attack. Many demon leaders brought their unholy forces here, even the terrifying Balor Orasmade? Their attacks were rebuffed, but they still reached their target. I think this is how the seeds of corruption was planted into the stone. It wouldn't have grown on its own, but Descari himself has now come to take advantage of its weakness, to open the abscess that has been festering for years, unnoticed by the people of Canabras. And when the demon lord struck the blow, the weakened stone gave in. Now it's in demon hands, and nothing is stopping them from spreading the blight through the entire stone, and from it to other stones along the whole perimeter of the world moon. Why'd you travel to the Wardstone? I tried to see their stories. The visions I had when I touched the Wardstone were unclear. I saw hundreds, maybe thousands of different stories at the same time. They followed each other like flashes of lightning. It was impossible to separate them. I couldn't understand where one ended and the next began. In that case, you must make every possible effort to destroy the corruption. Unfortunately, I don't know where to get an instrument powerful enough to banish it from the Wardstone. As far as I know, there's nothing like it in Canabras, but the demons might have something. I heard the dying ruler of Turendelev, the Silver Dragon, the protector to the city. At the same time, I felt a wave of unfamiliar power sweep over me from head to toe. I would advise you to go where Turendelev perished and search for something. I'm sorry I can't be more specific, but intuition and a strange sense of rightness tell me to point you there. So we're going to present the purple knife that we found in the market square at some point. So I found this in the square where Turendelev perished. What do you make of it? He reaches out and says softly, even from here, I can feel the strange energies emanating from this object. If you don't mind, I will examine it using my method. I will try and see the past of its owner, their emotions, shreds of their memory. Maybe it'll help us better understand what we're dealing with. Touches the knife, his fingers clamping around the hilt with a hungry, masterful grip. His face contorts into an evil grimace, his voice disgruntlingly raspy. Hunger. My many legs bring me into the lair. My mother's feasting hall, her swollen body overfilled with food, is huge. I may have to look at it with all of my eyes at once. On top of her scrawny little head with a long beak that is always yearning for more. You feel feverish in your chest, where the mysterious wound is concealed, feels hot. Your mind is flooded with a wave of visions. Visions that repeat the words of the old elf. Mother greets me with a placid, stupid, greedy wretch whose only achievement is my birth. A creeping, wingless creature. It's not your fault I have no wings. A symbol of greatness, a birthright I should have received from my mighty father. Mother points me to a crowd of whimpering subjects, suggesting I fortify myself with their pathetic flesh. Not today. I summon my spawn and they fly to me, enveloping me in a teeming cloud. Like dark, buzzing wings, they unfold my back and lift me up. Mother has always been stronger, but she did not expect this. I dive on her and rip her loaded body with my claws. Ichor splatters, the bone spurs of my heels sink into her flesh. I clench her pitiful tiny head and tear it off along the shreds of meat. Victory, I am the strongest. I am the son of my winged father. The elf grimaces with distaste. His voice becomes normal again. appalling. Stories like that are most difficult ones to keep with me. So, does this knife belong to a demon? The storyteller opens his mouth to answer, and a sudden spasm crosses his face. A new vision, a much stronger one, engulfs the old elf. The malevolent undertones vanish from his voice as it grows more determined and tired. Even looking at the wardstone is difficult. Despite the corruption nesting in it, it still has an aura of strength. Your fingers clench the stone hilt so tightly it hurts. A little spot on the flawless surface of the wardstone draws your attention. It looks like a butterfly, corruption in the guise of something harmless, but it will grow. You swing and stab the butterfly with the knife as hard as you can. Your fingers cramp painfully. A howl invades your ears. White light everywhere. The knife falls from the old elf's hands. Out of breath, he drops to his knees. He's trembling, the terror on his face so unusual from his dignified manner. What was that? That was not the past. That was something that's yet to happen, or rather what might happen. One of the roads to the future is one of the possible futures. This item will help you cleanse the wardstone, or destroy it. You feel a longing to take the stone chisel and plunge it into your chest, right to the wound that has opened up in it. It is hard to resist this feeling, but at the last moment your self-preservation instinct takes over and you manage to keep control of your own hand. He stands up. He looks stunned. Never before has anything like this happened to me. But how? I'm not an oracle or a prophet. Is this another riddle from the past that has caught up with me? I must find out. Seeing that stories that have happened is one thing, but seeing stories that are yet to happen, I don't know why this is happening now, but there's one thing I'm sure of. This is not a coincidence. This is a sign of coming changes. Great changes. So I shared your vision. This knife tempted me. Did you see what I saw? That has never happened before. Could it be magic of the object that you brought me? I sense dark energies in it that can cloud and charm the mind. Be careful with this item. It may have tried to influence you, but you've managed to overcome it and its power and subdue it. Or perhaps something else happened to us. Something we don't understand. So we had a lot of options here. Let's go for is what you saw destined to happen. No, the future is not yet set. It used to be, a long time ago when the god Aridin guarded Valerian, but now prophecies do not come true. Or they do, but not in the way they were supposed to. I only saw one version of the future, one of the paths leading to it. But the choice has not been made. Our destinies are not set in stone. We'll just say your powers are amazing. A few minutes ago I would have agreed with you, but the thing that has just happened, it disturbs me. My gift has never manifested like this. Something changed, and these changes frighten me. Just say I have to go for now. That was a lot of talking. I don't think we need to really talk to anyone else in here before the attack. I think everyone else should we should still have all these same dialogue trees after. It would just add more. So I think that's where we're gonna call this part. Then in the next part, we're gonna go ahead and it'll just be the attack on the defender's heart. So yeah, a little bit of a in-between episode, but we had some issues last time. Hopefully fine this time. Hopefully next episode's fine. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next part.